Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? It's midpoint. Ready for some more talk about collaboration. Welcome to the Ad Shapers stage. I'm Ramona Balunas. I'm the MC for today's track about collaboration models, brought to you by Quad, a first-time sponsor here at Advertising Week. And up next, we are going to be hearing from Peter Maxman at LinkedIn and Carolyn Tisch-Blodgett at Peloton, who are going to be talking about driving catalytic work for a global brand and what's needed to inspire company-wide action. I'm sure many of you have faced this challenge, whether you're collaborating across time zones or gathering executive and team buy-in, how you help a company, and in this case with 15,000 plus employees and their agencies, understand that a brand journey is not just about marketing and communications, it's about the company as a whole. And that's paramount. So I'm excited to have Peter Maxman, Senior Director of Global Brand Management, as I said, from LinkedIn, and Carolyn Tisch-Blodgett, Senior Vice President and Head of Global Marketing from Peloton. And just a reminder, the way Q&A is going to be handled, it's powered by Slido. Just join the conversation on slido.com and enter the event code, #AWNewYork. Thank you. Welcome.
So LinkedIn and Peloton, two seemingly very different companies and brands, but as Carolyn and I have been talking, actually a lot of parallels in terms of how we think about community, authenticity, and purpose, amongst others. I'm just going to set the stage a little bit about our brand journey before we go into the conversation and show a video, and then Carolyn is going to share some of her work as we go through. So from a LinkedIn perspective, over the last 16 years, we've built an incredible community of global professionals. So they come together on the platform to grow their careers and navigate their professional lives. And they're joined by, it's now over 30 million organizations who come to the platform to recruit and grow their businesses. And as these sort of incredibly human interactions and connections happen, what happens is that we create economic opportunity. And our LinkedIn's vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And that word every is really important to us. We're a very mission-driven company. We've got a sort of very warm, vibrant culture. And it's at our heart to create opportunity for all. So from a brand perspective, a couple of years ago, we started to get a sense that maybe that sense of warmth and purpose wasn't carrying through to how our members were all feeling about us. So we conducted a ton of research. We talked to thousands of members and customers. And what we found was there actually was a bit of a disconnect. So many of our members actually felt like they didn't belong on the platform, or it wasn't a place for them. And what they told us was that they felt like it was, a very corporate 9-to-5, trying to get to the corner office view of success. And when you think about all the global world's workforce, all the motivations that people have, passion, purpose, workplaces from hospitals to restaurants, we weren't really reflecting ourselves. When we looked into a little bit of this, this is how our brand looked a couple of years ago. Actually, a lot of it was to do with the way we were communicating. So first of all, our tone of voice was actually pretty corporate, a little bit inconsistent, a little bit full of jargon. And then from a look and feel perspective, we were a bit cold as well, so very blue and white, and a fair amount of stock photography, corporates, people high-fiving each other. So we've been on a massive brand journey since then, root and branch, first of all looking at our brand identity. From a tone of voice perspective, we're still professional, but we're trying to be much more conversational, human, and encourage the community rather than telling them what to do. You'll see our colours have evolved to be much warmer, so we're complementing that blue rather than focusing on it. Our tone of voice, we've got a new custom font, which is much more human. And one of the really interesting things that we did was we sent a team around the world, I think to 9 different countries, almost National Geographic-like, trying to photograph the everyday world of work, whether it's markets in India or in Sao Paulo, where they still actually do take their lunch breaks, they go out and they leave their phones behind. And it's not just been a brand identity journey, we've also been very much focused on telling our story externally. We're going too many clicks on that one. We've been very much focused on telling our story. Our first global integrated campaign is called In It Together, which we launched recently. And it features real stories of real members, a very diverse set of members, who found their version of success on LinkedIn. And what we found is, we're starting to see a lot of success with this, both from a brand metrics perspective, but also from a business metrics perspective, and people reflecting back to us this sense of warmth and people finding versions of success. So with that, I'm just going to show you one of our In It Together stories. This is one of our members called Diamond Blackwood, and how she started to find her version of success on the platform.
Hello, let's go.
I think that's Peloton.
So a typical day for me starts at 5:36 in the morning. I look and I see my daughter, and I know I have to get up. I go to school from 9 to 1, and then I work from 2 to 6, and I get home in time for my baby. That's my only source of income. Every parent wants to give their child everything that they didn't have. And I never knew someone could make me so weak. She does that. I'm looking to enter into database management. I'm not the most technical person, but I'm trying to turn my weakness into my strength. I don't like to ask for help. I need someone to guide me a little.
At NPower, we help underserved young adults to secure jobs in the technology field. I thought it would be a good match to connect Diamond and Jahida through LinkedIn. They were involved in the shelter system as well as our program, and I thought Jahida could be a really good mentor for Diamond.
Knowing that she's going through something that I've been through, it's just brought back so many emotions. I definitely did feel a sense of greater responsibility and motivation to help her.
As a woman starting off in tech, what's some advice you could give me?
There's people there that want to help you, that are genuinely interested and invested in seeing you succeed. If I didn't connect with the folks in my network, I wouldn't be here today.
Jahida is connecting me with people that I never thought I would have conversation with. And it's just, I never would have did this on my own. I've been given a roadmap in a way, like, these are people you can get connected to on LinkedIn, and they can really help you. I need to talk to people, follow up with people. I'm not gonna be scared. I have a goal. Someone else is counting on me. I see myself going big.
Great, okay, I'm gonna try not to get to the next Peloton then. Okay, so, really powerful work. Why now? So you guys are 16 years old, why did you guys decide to do this brand refresh now?
Yeah, I think so. The big thing for us is that we didn't feel like we were reflecting our true selves, our authentic selves externally. And that's really in three ways. Our vision, the sense of emotional connection, and then also our culture. So I talked a little bit about the vision. Our vision is the centre of what we do. We want to be for everyone. So having people feel like they don't belong on the platform was obviously something that we needed to work on. From an emotional connection perspective, we had a really strong functional brand. But when you take a step back and you think about the world of work, people spend something like 60% of their waking hours at work. And you think about the conversation that you have with people, your friends in pubs about your personal career, whether it's, the sense of meaning that you have, successes, failures, promotions. There's just so much emotion and passion and teamwork there. So we wanted to spread that sense of connection and make sure that we were there for people's personal careers. And then the third one is just our culture. I mean, we have a very sort of warm, vibrant culture at LinkedIn. People really love going to work there. And we want to make sure that, that people on the platform felt that sense of belonging in the same way.
Great. So it's interesting to hear about some of these misperceptions. I think I probably had some of those misperceptions also about being just for a certain set of professionals. What are the ways on platform and off the platform that you are tackling this?
Yeah, no, so exactly. So I think since the start we've been trying to make sure that this isn't just a marketing communications exercise, and the brand is really everything that we say and do. So we've been trying to tackle it really holistically. We've been working with the product team, so we have a user experience design team, right from the start. So just one example, if you'd gone to LinkedIn about 18 months ago on the sign-up page, the first thing you'd have seen is a sign saying, "Be great at what you do." Now, if you're an anxious job seeker and you're not quite sure what LinkedIn is, that feels like a lot of pressure to me, like, am I great? What am I doing? Should I be doing it, etc. So we spent a lot of time making sure that throughout the platform we're being much more sort of warm and encouraging to people. And then from a marketing perspective, it's really about these stories and telling real stories about real members and how they found success through their community. And that means telling lots of diverse stories, whether it's, I think we told stories about mothers coming back to work, architects, chefs, all sorts of different things, so that people can, see themselves in the platform, which is hugely important to us.
Great.
And then from a Peloton perspective, you've talked about the fact that these education campaigns and making sure that Peloton is really well understood as a brand. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Peloton, does everyone know what Peloton is? Not that I can really see, but I'm hoping people are raising their hand. So when I started at Peloton in 2016, we had no tracking in place, and so we started tracking our awareness, and we realized that there was a lot of room to grow, and we were basically at 0%. Nobody had heard of Peloton. So our job on the marketing team was really to kind of start at ground zero, raise awareness of a new product and a new category that we were creating. So all of our early advertising, and you keep seeing the beginning of one, which I'll show in a second, was really about product education. Let's explain to people that you can now have live studio cycling in the comfort of your own home. So I'm going to show this first. This is our first ad. Hopefully I can make it work.
Hello. Let's go for a ride on a Peloton. Let's go grab a couple thousand friends and chase each other up a hill. Let's go make a personal best, then beat it with your personal better than best. Let's go bring the world's best instructors right to you. Better yet, let's go bring the entire New York studio live. Let's go anytime, anywhere, with anyone who's willing. And let's go do it all right here. Ready to go? Peloton.
So again, very clearly just explaining what the product was. Fast forward to now, our awareness is now among our target over 70%. Hopefully, again, people in this room know what Peloton is. People now know what Peloton is. So now in our marketing, we have a very different challenge. So we are now addressing the barriers to purchase. So we know buying something like a Peloton bike is a considered purchase. There are certain barriers people have, and we are addressing them one by one in our marketing. So what I'm about to show you, I think is the first one, is so we know basically the top 3 barriers. One of them is that people aren't convinced that they'll actually like spinning. So we were in our early days, we were going after hardcore spinners and just telling them that it was convenient to do it at home. Now we're talking to people that actually have no context for spinning. They're not actually convinced that they want to do that. So what we are showing them is that this is actually a really great workout. It's an effective workout, but it's also a really enjoyable workout. So that is what I'm going to show you first. Oh no, sorry, I'm not going to show you that. Hold on. We made a live change at the last minute. So we're going to start with a different barrier. So what you see in this one, so the number one barrier to purchase is price. People are concerned, this is a really expensive product. I don't know that I can afford it. I don't know that I'm really going to use it. So what we do in this campaign is show that this is actually, price shouldn't be the barrier. We have financing. It's $58 a month. It's actually it's competitive to a gym, or in certain places like New York, it's much more affordable than a gym. So this is our first time we are addressing the number one barrier to purchase head on, which is price.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone. Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone. This isn't for everyone. But at $58 a month, Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
So really clear, this is the type of person that wants this, that wants to be this type of person that wakes up in the morning and enables them to be the best version of themselves throughout the day. You can afford it with Peloton now. And then the last one, which I'll show you, is what I had mentioned before about really convincing people that this is actually a great and effective workout that they would love to do at home.
Music that moves you. Just one part of the best cardio machine on the planet, Peloton.
Fantastic. And as part of this, you've been also talking about how important your mission and your purpose has been to Peloton, how that's been sort of ingrained since the beginning. So how have you thought about sort of codifying that, and how have you thought about bringing it into, I guess, your brand strategy and also your campaigns?
Yeah, so I think brand positioning and brand strategy is the most difficult thing marketers do. It's the most complicated, and it's also the most important, right? Because when you're thinking about launching a new campaign, even if it is, the first ad I showed you, which is purely product, it still has to connect back to that brand. If we're thinking about launching a new product, we have to evaluate it, not just in terms of, what's the market size and all of that, but how does it evolve the brand that we're trying to build. But the easiest way that I know how to do brand strategy and positioning is to look at what's core to your product, right? Like, what is a truth that only we can say as a brand? And luckily with Peloton, it's sort of like we are the richest people in the world because there is so much to say about this brand. So we have such a passionate community. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what we hear from our community every day, that Peloton has changed their life. Peloton makes me better at my job because I'm more focused. It makes me a better parent because I am more patient and I have that time back that I can actually be with my kids. And you'll see all of that. So at our core, Peloton enables you to be the best version of yourself. And that's kind of the essence of what the Peloton brand stands for. What's interesting over the last few years is it's also, we've realized that it's not just about this individual experience, it's also about the shared experience and the idea that I am not just the best version of myself because of this bike in my living room. I'm the best version of myself because of the Peloton community and the way that I am actually experiencing this alone, but with other people. And that kind of inspiring others part of our brand is something we're just sort of stepping into from a marketing perspective, but something I think you'll see more of as we go.
Great, very exciting.
And then, sorry, I forgot. I am going to show you our, as I said at the beginning, most of our marketing so far has been very product focused. This was sort of the one chance, we did an Olympics campaign a few years ago. This was our kind of one chance to show the brand story as well.
Most of life is a string of barely noticeable moments. Some easy, some tough, all beautiful. But every day there's a chance to be stronger, fiercer, but also patient, at once peaceful and unstoppable. Because every day is a chance to get closer to something inside that's always been there. Peloton.
So jumping back to LinkedIn, so you've talked a lot about it's not just a marketing exercise, which again, back to the brand strategy is best when it's not just a marketing exercise. How do you make others across the organization feel like owners of the brand and even ambassadors of the brand?
Yep. No, so that's been hugely important from the start. And I guess from our perspective, there's been sort of three things. Going back to your brand strategy point, I think the first one is like we're a tech company, so we need to persuade people we need to be rooted in data. So we made sure that as we built this strategy, it was massively built on member and customer data, which really helped make that case for change. Second thing, which we've touched on, is just being really authentic to our culture. People feel that sense of mission on a daily basis. People feel that sense of warmth within LinkedIn, and so everyone's aligned to express it, and that makes it much easier and natural to do. And then I think even beyond that, it is still a you need to think of it almost as a process, and think about bringing stakeholders along from the beginning. So from the start, we were working with our product user experience design team, working with our sales team to make sure that we were all heading in the same direction. And then as we started rollout, that's also been hugely making sure, for example, that we did all of our research in different international markets. We went out to, I think, 8 of those markets to train people, and just making sure that everybody has a sense of, this is theirs, and they've got the tools to do the job.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think, at Peloton, I actually feel like my title as head of brand, I feel like I'm the least involved person in the brand, because the brand experience is the people that deliver the bikes, the people that you go to the showroom, you call customer support if something goes wrong. Like, those are the people that really live and breathe the brand every day. So I think that's great.
Exactly. And I think we feel like we're just enabling people to tell just in an easier way, just tell people who we are, which is something that everybody wants to do with us. You say it's like customer service, talent brand, all those types of things.
So you often you've spoken about the role of the community, and you hear that word a lot from LinkedIn now. How do you nurture communities on LinkedIn, and what's unique about the LinkedIn community?
So I think what's unique about the LinkedIn community is just it's uniquely positive in the way that work is. If you think about your career, if you think about your job, your work, like people just don't get to where they want to get to alone. Like whether it's getting your foot in the door at the start of your career, whether it's getting a job, I think people are like 9 times more likely to get a job through a referral. Whether it's mentoring, coaching, learning, it's a communal activity. So that's very much at the heart of what we do. It's at the heart of what our product team does on a daily basis, whether it's launching new products like we just launched LinkedIn Live, whether it's our incredible editorial team curating conversations. I think from a marketing perspective, like one of the things we've been focused on recently is like evolving our social handles. So I think if you went back a year and a half ago, we were telling the audience a bit what to do. And in terms of nurturing that community, we've started asking a lot more questions. So when you start to ask people things like, what's the best career advice you've got? What are your motivations? You just get so much more engagement and warmth, and that's been really rewarding. I think also from a company perspective, like the number one thing in terms of building a community is safety and trust. So our number one value is members first, and just making sure that people do have a really sort of safe, trusted place that they can come to share, learn, inspire each other. And yeah, that's hugely important to us. I guess saying back to you, like you started talking about it, but I'm about to become part of the Peloton community, and you seem to have this incredible set of fans and community. How do you think about nurturing it? How do you think about amplifying it?
Yeah, so it's interesting. If you ask the founders of Peloton, in the early days, they were so confident they had an incredible product, which obviously they did. What they never realized that they were creating was this community. And it's actually become probably the most important part of Peloton, and it's the thing that none of us planned. I would say now that we're here on the marketing side, our job is to protect it and nurture it and amplify it in ways that we can. So say the number one way we do that is through our product. Similar to what you were saying before, our product team is always thinking about how can we create that sense of community on your bike or on your tread or in our app. And so things like now you can high five people. So if you're taking a class, let's say when you take your first live class, I promise, hopefully this happens, that there will be people that you'll get a stream of high fives because people will see on their leaderboard that it's your first class. And so people will all start giving you high fives and they'll try and encourage you. There's
I may need some high-fiving at that point.
Yes, I'll take the class with you. I'll high-five you.
Hard work.
Yes, exactly. It's hard, yes. You'll see we also have what's called a Here Now leaderboard. So even in my favorite, actually, part of Peloton these days, because I've been traveling a lot, is our meditation. So I was in Vancouver last week, woke up at 3 in the morning, couldn't sleep, and I went into our app, which started a meditation class, and there were 450 people taking it at 3 in the morning. And you feel this sense of others. Like, I am not the only person that can't sleep right now. I am doing this with other people. So I'd say the product is kind of the core of where we continue to enable the community. The second piece is our instructor. So I'm sure when you get your bike, everyone that has a Peloton bike that will talk to you will say, Allie Love changed my life. I can't ride without Robin. The instructor really becomes the kind of like center of your experience. So our role in the marketing team is to continue to foster that connection between the instructors and their community. And then the third piece is really by bringing the community to life in every way that we can. So we host an event every year called Peloton Homecoming, which is actually created by our members. We've just taken it over because it's gotten more complicated. And it is 3,000 people from around the world come together in May every year to actually experience Peloton together in person. And 3,000 people at this point isn't that many in our community, but we're always thinking of ways like that where we can bring the community together. We'll do events. We have showrooms across the world, so we will have events in our showrooms. We'll bring an instructor, and people can really, the Denver community will all come together at the showroom for that event. So as much as we are a tech-enabled community, we also find ways to bring them together in real life, too.
Amazing, amazing. And one of the communities that you seem to be focusing on at the moment is new parents, and actually there are new parents in my team who've been telling me how amazing this is, and hence the purchase. Why that particular community? Why have you chosen that, and how's that sort of playing out for you?
Yeah, so people ask me this all the time, and we actually don't really focus on new parents. I think it's just new parents. We are both, young parents, and I think it just deeply resonates with us. But what we are really focused on is this, greater purpose of the brand enabling you to be the best version of yourself, and whether that's what you hopefully just saw in that last campaign was, again, I am better at work, I'm a better parent, I'm a better friend, I'm a better partner, I'm a better spouse. And so the best way, I think, for us to show that is often through the connection with children. So that is often how it shows up in our advertising, even though that's not technically who we are targeting. But there is something really, John has had young kids when he still has young kids, but when he started Peloton, his kids were much younger, and he often talks about the difference between, for his wife, she would normally go to the gym and it would be another moment of leaving her kids. But now her kids are looking up at her and seeing her working really hard, and they understand that what happens when you work hard and seeing the benefits of that. So I think there's something so pure. Again, if Peloton enables you to be the best version of yourself, the sort of purest way to show that is through the connection between how your kids see you differently with Peloton in your life.
It's incredibly powerful. And then looking forward, in terms of what's next, what are you most excited about for the Peloton brand?
Yeah, so I would say two things, well, a lot of things, but two that I would focus on. The first is, I think you've heard me talk a lot about today about the Peloton bike, because that is where we started. But the founders never started out with this vision of creating a US bike company, right? Their original hypothesis was, we are going to transform the fitness industry globally. And that is very much, that is something that John said to me in my interview 3.5 years ago. And maybe it just feels like the type of thing a founder says, but it really is, it's amazing to watch it actually happen, and it happened as quickly as it is. So we've launched the Peloton Tread, we have our app where you can access all of our Peloton content without hardware. So we are just getting started and really seeing the Peloton brand transform into just this functional US bike company into this global fitness platform, I would say is probably what I'm most excited about. The other piece is what we talked about before, which is this transition from kind of product advertising to brand advertising, and really being able to tell, because we were creating a category, we had to be so focused on, again, this is what the product is, this is how you use it. But once we have raised awareness and people now start to understand, we've created this category, now people get the category, now being able to tell that broader, brand message about being the best version of yourself, about inspiring others, that's really where we want to focus in the future.
Fantastic.
And then what about for you? What's on the horizon at LinkedIn?
Similarly, I'm really excited about how we tell our brand story even more internationally and globally. We just recently launched our first global integrated In It Together campaign across 14 markets. And I'm very lucky. I've worked for LinkedIn in Europe, in the UK, and in the US. So I've sat in countless hours of focus groups with members and non-members. And at LinkedIn, that means sitting there listening to people's careers. You're listening to their career journeys, their aspirations. And what you find is a lot of it is careers is a very sort of culturally specific category. So people think in different countries very differently about things like how open they want to be in sharing, how they think about networking, how they sort of connected they are to companies and their longevity at companies, work-life balance. Loads of stuff that's very culturally specific. But there's also a lot of global truths in there around this sense of meaning, purpose, passion. So I'm really looking forward to think about how do we build this global brand that resonates with everybody, like LinkedIn does with the platform, but is also very sort of culturally nuanced, because in the end your community is generally local and very specific to you, and how we pull that through our marketing, I think, is going to be really exciting.
So should we switch to questions?
Yes, let's switch to questions.
I don't know how we do that. Can we switch to questions? Hopefully they come. Oh, okay, a question for me. So the question is about differentiating Peloton with new competitors entering the space. The example was Mirror. So I would say the way we think about this question is, you talked about being members first, and members first is core to who we are as well. And I think we have pretty much, obviously, we read the news and see what's happening in the world, but we're pretty much just focused on our members and making the best experience for our members. And when you do that, I think you succeed. And obviously, we see things like Mirror, we see other products coming after us, and like that's what happens when you're a category creator. That's what happens when you're a category leader. We don't spend a lot of time thinking about it because we are going to continue to make the best experience possible for our members, and we assume that people will see that and will follow. Do a LinkedIn one.
There's a few. So, yeah, I guess it was saying, where do we see the most growth for LinkedIn coming from? Consumers, advertisers, or recruiters? I think that the amazing thing about the LinkedIn business model is it's really balanced. As I was saying, the most important thing from a company perspective is that we're members first, and we think about, as we're talking about from a brand perspective, how do we allow people to build their community on the platform and grow from there. And then, as I was talking about at the start, what that means is that advertisers can also connect with that audience and bring opportunities, and that includes, recruiters coming to recruit talent. It includes advertisers coming to sort of share messages and grow their business. It includes, consumers being able to learn and use premium in order to get those revenue streams. So I think, the great thing about LinkedIn is it is multiple revenue streams, and we see, a huge amount of potential in each of them.
So there's another one for Peloton, and do you see studio fitness classes as a barrier for Peloton or an opportunity? Very simply, an opportunity. The best thing, so if you thought that, so of our first ad that I showed you guys at the beginning, that was purely to people, or squarely to people who understood what studio fitness was and telling them about the benefits of getting it at home. When people understand the power of studio fitness, and then we show them how the experience is even better with Peloton because we have the best instructors, the best content, the best software, all of that, and by the way, you get to have it in the comfort and convenience of your own home, that is the simplest way to market Peloton. Our challenge is that the studio fitness industry is actually very small and pretty coastal, and we are not a coastal brand. So our challenge, which is why we are now convincing people to use Peloton and to get into the categories that we're in. But if studio fitness continues to take off, that will be the best thing that can happen for us.
Great. So one of the questions says, love the new branding and purpose. Will LinkedIn evolve communities to be live and more social versus professional focused? So the way I'd answer that one is, we're absolutely professional, both in terms of, context, who's on the platform, people using their professional identity, and that's hugely important to us in terms of them reaching, economic opportunities. So I think that it's always going to be professionally focused. But in terms of how we make sure those connections are happening and people are able to use their, leverage their communities more, that's kind of our daily job. So recently there's been, you may have noticed, a massive focus on making sure that the messaging functionality allows people to connect more, not only individually but in groups in terms of discussing. We've launched LinkedIn Live, which allows people to stream from conferences like this, so people can share that experience. It's kind of the challenge on a daily basis to make sure that we're really putting the community at the centre and thinking about how we enable those connections that allow people to get where they want to go.
So there's a question on how does Peloton come to life on the LinkedIn platform, which I'm happy to answer. So it's interesting to hear you talk about kind of the more expanded view of LinkedIn, because we have in the past probably been too focused on thinking of people who are coming to see Peloton to decide if they want to work there, and it's been very focused on kind of the recruiting side of it. What I think we realized, we've recently been posting more about what it's like to work at Peloton, and we've posted about our new maternity and paternity policy. We posted about our educational benefits to our employees, and it's amazing to see the comments are not people saying, I want to work at Peloton, it's Peloton is my favorite brand, I just want more of Peloton. And so I think we've sort of evolved just in the last few weeks of how we're thinking about LinkedIn, because it does feel like it's a place where people are engaging with brands beyond just in a where do I want to work and what can I learn about that company.
Amazing.
Yes, great.
And we look forward to working on
Yes, great.
So what other ones?
There was a Peloton question that just got lost.
Yeah, they're flipping around a bit.
Yeah.
I saw one, and it's now disappeared.
There's one question that is Peloton only in the US? No. We are in the UK, and Canada as well, and we're launching in Germany later this year.
Wait for the next flip. Otherwise,
A little slow moving.
yeah, there's one that says, how would you best recommend I utilize LinkedIn to maximize experience/opportunities? That is a broad question. So I'm really happy to discuss that with whoever it is afterwards. I mean, I think the thing about leveraging the LinkedIn platform is, like we were talking about, just really about telling your own story, making sure that you communicate, authentically who you are, and then really thinking about where you want to get to, how you can best not only present yourself, but think about whether it's network resources, whether it's our learning capabilities, whether it's joining groups, whether it's following editors. There's all sorts of ways that the platform can help you, and really happy to discuss.
Great. I think there was a question, which it's not coming back up, but there's a question about would Peloton go beyond the hardware. I'm not seeing it anymore, but so yes, we do already. So we have a Peloton app, which I encourage you all to download right now while you're here. So basically, you can access all of the Peloton content without the hardware. So if you belong to a gym, you can use their bikes there, their treadmills, and you can still get a fantastic Peloton workout without committing to the hardware. We also have we're continuing to innovate in different fitness verticals. So we have things like yoga and meditation where there's no hardware required at all. So we are continuing, again, if you think about us as kind of transforming the overall fitness industry, it is not just going to be in hardware. We will continue to innovate on the content side as well.
Great.
Great.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you guys for joining us for the AdShaper Stage Collaboration Model Track brought to you by Quad. Everybody knows it's really warm outside. I haven't been out there, but if you're interested, we have an ice cream truck out from 2 to 5 today. Free scoop on us. Go enjoy it. All right. Thank you.